If I had to give our marriage like
A score?
a title,
Oh, a title.
yeah, it would be, what is Elyse going to do this time? Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view,
Vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them. But it's okay because we love each other and movies too. Hey there, Upper East Siders. Welcome to Vow To View, your Doof Media podcast, all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. I'm Gossip Girl.
Say your name.
I was going to just be Gossip Girl.
No, people have to know who you are.
I'm Elyse Daly.
And I'm Scott Daly.
And together, we're the Dailies.
You seem very upset.
I'm not upset.
You seem very upset.
I'm not upset. Why didn't you do We're the Dailies with me?
Because you seemed very upset.
We're the Dailies. I thought you were going to do the Donalds and then I was going to do Donaldsons and then...
What?
I don't know. You were playing around earlier and said we were the Donalds, but
Yeah,
we're not the Donalds.
It was a joke.
But the Donaldsons is the TV family.
What?
Right? Rebecca Donaldson from Fuller House.
Okay.
My brain's an amazing thing.
This is the podcast where each and every week you and I pick a movie or a TV show and make each other watch it. And then we come in front of some microphones and talk about the shows or movies we watched and about each other. And I have to put up with
how much we love each other.
I have to put up with your nonsense and try to follow the track of your brain, which is not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's worth it in the end.
This week, we're talking about television shows from our teen years.
Yes, teen years.
You have picked Gossip Girl.
I've picked the Gossip Girl.
And I picked Smallville.
Yes.
So
one of these is better than the other.
Yeah.
Mine.
Clearly.
Yes.
We'll get into that in a little bit, though.
Yes.
Because we've got some roses and some thorns to do.
But Scott, before that.
This
is the ultimate.
The final.
This is the final. This is, not ever, Bachelorette in Paradise. Keep going. Gotta keep it coming. Nope, not quite done. More. Got it. Little cough out. Get it all out. Oh no, I heard a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. I still hear a little in your tummy.
No, I'm
little
done.
tummy rumbling.
Babe, it's totally done.
Okay.
It's totally
Are
done.
you sure?
Yeah. So talk to me about Bachelor in Paradise.
So, remember you were like, Elyse, we've got to keep this in time. And you know what's going to make it not in time? The amount of barf that you're having right now.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
At least
Anyways,
this was the season finale of your show.
This was the 2-night season finale of the show. So Monday night was Chris Harrison walks in and says, guys, everything in Bachelor in Paradise is about to change because tonight are the fantasy suites. And so every single couple that was there basically has to decide, are we going to stay a couple and be in the fantasy suite? Are we going to leave and remain a couple? Are we going to break up now and not continue dating? So the couples that were left that I can recall and really care about. So first of all, Joe and Kendall were talking before the rose ceremony even took place, which was the night before this event with Chris Harrison happened. And Joe and Kendall, which were one of the strongest couples, they'd both been there since day 2. Evidently, Joe was trying to figure out how to move the relationship forward and was even thinking about, like future engagement and all this other stuff. And then Kendall just got freaked out, and then Joe got upset, and rightly so, because all the stuff that he was bringing up was very true, and she just was kind of running away from it all. And so he just left, and it was really sad. But you know what? We'll find out what happened on the After the Rose. And then, oh my gosh, don't ever do that. Sorry, guys. So then who else was there? There was, Kevin and Astrid. Kevin and Astrid were probably one of my favorite couples, I guess, next to Joe and Kendall. And Kevin had been on the Bachelorette in Canada and then was also on Bachelor Winter Games. And he evidently had pretty negative experiences with both of the fantasy suite things that have happened on The Bachelor. And the last one that he had, he said he severely regretted. And so as soon as Chris Harrison said fantasy suite, he just had like all of these emotions like surface up again after what had happened from the previous times. And so it just like completely threw him off.
This segment of the show is way more fun when we don't like seriously talk about the show.
Oh, anyways. So then they broke up, which was sad. And then I forget, I guess other people broke up, but there were only 3 couples that went to the fantasy suites. It was, who was it?
And again, to remind people what the fantasy suites are, that's where you go to bang.
It's the boom boom room.
So it's like, we have to decide if we're going to have sex now.
Consensual. Yes.
Obviously. Mm-hmm. I would hope they don't set up rape rooms.
I would hope so too, but you never know with this show. So first one was Annalise and Camille, and Annalise is just way more into Camille than he is into her on this. And then later too, then there was Chris and Crystal, and then Jordan and Jenna. And then after the fantasy suite, they decided what they wanted to do. Annalise and Camille left together, still dating, but not engaged. Then both Jordan and Jenna and Chris and Crystal both got engaged. So then there was the After the Final Rose where all of them come back. And then Joe and Kendall ended up getting back together after the show is over. So we're all happy again in the Joe and Kendall world. And Joe's going to be on Dancing with the Stars so that he can go out to LA and be by Kendall. And that's just great. And then Kevin and Astrid forgave each other and they're working things out. And they're back together, which is great because I loved Kevin and Astrid. And then Camille. Let's talk about Camille for a second. How he broke up with Annalise just on the show. What did you think about that?
I think it was an asshole move that the producers probably told him to do.
Yeah, I wonder if he gets paid for stuff like that.
Yes, absolutely. He's like, they probably told him, you got anything for the show? Because the one Leo dude didn't get to speak at all. I'm sure he did. They probably just cut it. But they said, like, dude, we'll get you like...
Well, Leo had been getting a lot of bad publicity with the whole like sexual assault charges.
Yeah, that's why they...
That's why they cut it.
Yeah. So they probably were like, dude, we can get you up in that hot seat and you'll definitely get on the show if you do something crazy. It's like, so what are you planning on doing? Are you going to propose to her or what? And he's probably like, actually, things aren't going well. And I think I might break it off. And then the producer probably like, oh, you really owe her an explanation. You got to do it in person, right? Oh, and you should do it on the show. So he got talked into doing it on the show, which is a dumb thing to do.
I kind of wonder if now in their contracts they have things about how post like actual shooting of the show that they're currently on, how much of their relationship afterwards needs to be public. Because after the whole Becca and Ari breakup, now all of these things for Bachelor in Paradise, like whenever Joe and Kendall had a conversation in Chicago, they brought the camera there.
Yeah, well, they pay them more money.
I guess they pay them.
I'm sure there's like a stipulation in the contract that says if you want to participate in that, we'll give you X amount of more money.
I guess that would
And they say yes because
it's money.
They're on the show to make money.
I guess that's true. But anyway, Annalise and Camille broke up. And Annalise, I think she's just like crazy girl. You know how some of those people are just...
They're all crazy.
They're obsessive.
They're all crazy.
I'm just not that obsessive. I'm just more of an independent person.
Yeah, because you wouldn't go on a national television show to find a husband after 3 weeks.
I thought about it would be fun. I thought going on all those trips would have been fun. But the likelihood of the relationship being very strong would not be really true. Anyway, so Annalise and Camille break up. And then come out Jordan and Jenna, who I just don't even really know if carrying a conversation with Jenna would actually be that interesting. She doesn't really speak a whole lot. She just makes noises and laughs. I don't get it. But, you know, I guess that's appealing to some people.
So are we just going to not talk about their whole thing?
Oh, yeah. What you can tell what happened because I didn't get to read the articles, but you got to read them. So
I saw it on Twitter.
Reality Steve said that.
So they got engaged at the end of the thing.
Yes.
The model and the girl the airhead, I'll call her.
Jenna.
Yeah.
Yes.
They got engaged at the end of the thing, and then apparently on Monday, like the day of the first half of the premiere, that Reality Steve guy that you're always finding out who won the show from for some reason, posted an article about how Jenna was the entire time seeing some other dude back home, and he posted texts between the two of them where she admits that her whole relationship on the show is fake. It's just business. And as soon as a long enough time has gone by after the end of the finale, she's going to break up with him so they can be together. Just once and for all, proving my point that this is all bullshit.
I wonder if she's going to stay with him long enough so that she gets to keep the ring, or if they're going to break it off before.
I don't think she cares about the ring.
I don't know. You could sell it. You know, it's all about making money. You could just sell that ring.
It's not just about, it's about furthering your career. Now she's been on TV and she's a person on television, and she can probably, she said if he wanted to, she'll tell the breakup story in a way that makes Jordan look really bad and her look really good, which is always a great thing you want to hear from someone.
Yeah.
So in conclusion, this show is bullshit.
Which kind of makes me sad. I did grow to like Jordan. Jenna I never was really that crazy about. She just was too ditzy for me.
Babe, they're actors.
I know, and
they're acting.
He did a really good job this season acting.
Yeah, he decided he didn't want to be the villain anymore.
Good for him.
He's still kind of stupid, though.
I know, but I think that's the endearing part.
He's like a Zoolander.
Yeah, for real. He's real
like
life
Zoolander.
Yeah, and I totally enjoy that.
Okay.
And then the last couple, Chris and Crystal.
Boring.
Who, both the crazy people. Chris Harrison gave them a crystal goose.
Because his name is Goose.
And her name's Crystal.
I can't believe that worked.
Yeah.
Like, that's really upsetting to me.
It's kind of crazy. But, I mean, like, good for them.
Sure.
But, okay, so other news in Bachelor Nation, which you guys maybe don't care.
30 seconds.
Okay, so Pixie, one of our favorites from our season, is pregnant, which is why she didn't go on Bachelor in Paradise in the beginning. We wanted her to be there, but she got pregnant after dating her boyfriend for 3 months. So now she is,
Oops.
4 months pregnant. And then, another ex-Bachelor contestant and BIP star for 2 seasons this past week was arrested for beating up her boyfriend in the hotel room. Domestic violence.
It's almost
a mother of 2.
You know, it's like if I'm trying to
bad.
develop like an overarching thesis of this whole show, it seems it would be that the people that they make come on these shows are not entirely stable.
I guess that is true.
Almost as if it's just a manipulation tactic, and they have people on that are very manipulatable and very
Easily
unbalanced.
Yeah, well, you know.
And easy to get drunk. But it's
true.
over.
It's
forever.
over for a while. Then in January, we're going to come back.
No.
Colton's going to be the Bachelor. We'll see how that goes. Evidently, Colton and Tia are now finally on the same page. And they have tried the dating thing, and it did not work. So she's not going to be on the season.
They are on the same page.
I bet you they bring her back just
but
so that
those
it can
pages
be, this is my friend.
Different books.
Yeah. Different chapters.
Books.
Anyways.
Don't try to fix my joke.
So, Scott.
What
was your Rosie for this week?
Well, before we go on, we need a new segment for the top of the show.
Oh,
we need something that's supposed to be 5 minutes long. By the way, this was 13.
Oh, my gosh.
It's supposed to be 5 minutes long, just a quick segment. And we're still trying to figure it out. But if you guys have any ideas for us, let us know. Email us at doofmedia@gmail.com.
So I might just like to talk about tabloids.
No, that sounds
gossip.
literally
Oh my gosh, it sounds amazing.
It sounds the worst ever.
No.
All right, it's time for Rosies and Thornies. Every rose has its thorn. Just like every night has its dawn.
Dawn, dawn, dawn.
Every cowboy sings a sad, sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah. Jesus.
Yes, and you're going first, Scott. What is your rose for this week?
So I was supposed to have jury duty on Monday.
Oh, yeah, you were.
And I didn't need to. I was like a backup juror. So they're just like, at 11 o'clock on Monday, call and see if you have to spend the rest of your day in jury duty. And I called at 11:01 and they said, standby jurors are not needed for today. And I was like,
hooray, hallelujah.
I'd basically decided.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm just kidding. I'm done.
I'd basically decided on Sunday that either my rose or my thorn was going to be jury duty, whether I got out of it or had to do it. And I was lucky enough I didn't have to do it.
I'm glad it was your
Part
rose.
of me wants to experience being a juror because I've never done it before.
I don't know if I would like it, but I've never been it.
I
mean, The Good Wife made it seem kind of interesting, but
yeah, I'm sure it's just like television.
Except for that one time that there was the...
You really need to stop basing all your experiences off of TV shows.
Well, they based them off of something.
Drama.
Reality.
Elyse.
What?
What is your rose?
I have had just such an amazing week, Scott. There are just so many things that could be my rose. I just can't even think of one. So you know what? It could be the fact that I have my first pumpkin spice latte of the season. That is fantastic news. It could be the fact that I just absolutely love my students right now. And they're just like the cutest little things. And I just love having conversations with them. Or it could be the fact that, you know what, I came home the other day and you had like cleaned the entire kitchen. It looked sparkling beautiful and all of the trash everywhere was taken out. And not that those are not things that you normally do, but it just was extra special that day. And so I don't know. I can't pick. Life is just great right now. It's just one big rose.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's like kind of a cop-out.
No, it's not a cop-out.
It's like a rose Paris.
Ah, rose potpourri. Rose. Oh, you did it right.
I don't know why you're trying to fix it.
I just wanted to put a little extra in it. It didn't work.
All right, it's time to go to the negative side, though.
Yeah.
Do you have a thorn?
I can't think of one. I'm sorry, guys. I've been trying to think.
We'll do a group thorn because this is pretty sad.
Yeah,
And
because
we have to be downers.
We do.
Because we live in Dallas, Texas, and Dallas, Texas was in the news this past week because a 26-year-old black man was shot and killed inside his apartment by a police officer who got confused, I guess, and thought the story is she walked into the wrong apartment, saw a shadow, ordered the shadow to do something. The shadow did not comply, and so she shot him. The guy, his name is Botham Jean, I think. Jan, sorry.
Botham Jean.
Jean, sorry. He worked for a public accounting firm that I used to work at in the group that I used to be. So I was in risk assurance at PwC. Which was a pretty small, I think it's bigger now, but when we were in, it was a pretty small group. It was like 20 of us. And so he worked with all these people I know. So like I'd heard about it from you, I think, but then I was just on Facebook and I started seeing my old boss like posting stuff about like how devastated he was because this guy was so great. And I realized, oh God, it's just kind of awful and surreal. And like, these things happen all over the country constantly. That's why football players are kneeling. But
yeah, it's
just one that, it hit close to home in multiple ways. And that apartment complex was the complex that you and I almost signed at.
Was it really?
Yeah, the one right across from Draft House.
Uh-huh.
That they didn't have enough room for dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one we looked at.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because I remember us being like, well, it's like a half mile from the police station. So the area is up and coming. It's not fully gentrified yet. They're gentrifying South Dallas.
Yeah.
But and we were like, well, it's not the safest area of town, but there's this police station right down the road, so it'll be safe. And that's a little ironic, but it's very surreal and very weird. And I mean, this is like, I don't like to get too political, but This is why people are kneeling.
Yeah.
Like this stuff keeps happening, and I don't know what's going to happen to this police officer. I don't know if like her story seems shady.
It does. And I think that what is also it's just like a hard thing to do is because she's off duty, but she's in her uniform.
Yeah.
And so that's why I was listening to the news this morning, and the person that they had on that they were asking questions that was, I guess, more familiar with the case or these types of cases was saying that any time that an officer is off duty and leaving, they're supposed to take off their uniform, because even if they're in public, anything that they do while in the uniform is representative of the police
So
force.
it's like they're not off
and
duty.
so the case shouldn't be treated for what he was saying as though she's a civilian, even though she was off duty. But the DPD was trying to treat it as though she was a civilian, which is why they were giving it to the Texas Rangers, also because they didn't want to get too close. So it's just like, yes, her story was fishy.
Yeah.
This whole process is fishy. And it's really like all of these things are completely unfortunate and awful things that have happened. And I mean, I have no idea how this is going to unfold and what's going to happen. I'm just very curious as to how it actually happened, because you had seen that said that you saw pictures of
that turned out to be bogus.
It was
okay.
Okay.
That was bogus.
Well, regardless, I mean, she lives at the unit directly below, and I guess I hadn't ever met some of the people that lived directly above me, but if there were neighbors that I was most upset about ever, it was probably the people. I don't know.
I mean,
I don't want to speculate.
The most honest, realistic depiction is she was tired. She got confused. She claims his door was unlocked. That could be.
Yeah.
That could be. Sometimes there were one or two times that I forgot to lock my deadbolt at night when I was living by myself that I shouldn't have. She walked in the door. He heard someone. Like, I have been laying in my bed when I thought I heard my front door open. It didn't, but I thought I heard it. And you rush up and you like sprint for the door to see what the hell's going on. And if someone opens my door in the middle of the night, I don't know what time it was. I know it was dark, so it was late. But if someone opens my door at night and starts commanding me to do things, I'm not going to listen to them. I don't know who you like. So the thing that really pissed me off about this is it seems like the defense that they're creating around her is this idea that she gave him commands and he ignored them, so she shot him. But
he's in
it's his
house,
fault.
and so he thinks he's getting robbed.
Right.
So it's like both sides, and he's not able to defend himself, and that's what the issue is. Is now there's someone who's dead, and
someone who's dead who was
a great person like all of these things. I mean, like, he's leading music at his church. He was well loved by his staff that he worked with.
I've talked
by
to my old friends.
and
they like, it's not just them saying well-wishing words for the public because they feel like they have to because someone's died. I've talked to these people, and they say he was a great guy. He was a dedicated, hardworking guy. So like any kind of like narrative that is going to try to make him to blame for what happened, I am going to be very resistant to. And I feel like when you start saying things like she gave him commands and he didn't listen to them, I feel like that's they're laying the tracks for that kind of defense.
Yeah.
And if that works,
that's going to be really sad.
It's I mean, and like the most realistic thing is it was just a stupid accident. Like, she was tired. She thought she was in her house. She panicked. I mean, she's a cop. Like, if anyone's not going to panic, it should be you. Mm-hmm. But she panicked and she shot someone. But man, like, we got to start training our cops better. I mean, like,
and they have to. I mean, like, that's a consequence, and people need to have consequences for things, because otherwise it's an example that others don't learn from. And so they think, oh, well, if I do it, it's fine. I'm not going to treat this as such a big deal if I either accidentally do it or I purposefully do it, because this is the baseline that I'm always going to be able to compare to. And it's not. And that's the issue, is especially like when I'm trying to teach kids things that, are acceptable and unacceptable in class, I always praise the positive. But if something is happening that I don't want to happen, other people need to see that this is not what behavior is that I want to accept. And so I have to stop it, or else other people are going to do it too. And it's the same with adults, you know.
I mean, I don't think it's just making an example of. I think it's serving
and I
justice.
hate the term like let's make an example of, because I think that that's kind of negative at times, but at the same time, it is like,
look, it's manslaughter. That's what it is. Like, I don't care if
that is exactly what this is.
I don't care if it was a stupid accident. You killed someone accidentally. That is the definition of manslaughter.
Yeah.
You have responsibility. It doesn't matter if it was a mistake or not. You are responsible, and you should face consequences. And if they try to wrangle, like I can see, because she's in her uniform, so they're going to be like, well, since she was in her uniform, she was technically...
But if
like,
she couldn't see him and make out that, then how could he see her and have made out that it was her badge? And it's not fair for them to be able to make that case when she can defend herself and he can't.
I mean, none of this is fair.
None of it is fair.
The deep-seated racism in so many people that could probably cause this to happen is not fair. But I'm going to be paying attention to this. It's a real bummer. If any of my old coworkers are listening, I'm thinking about you guys and his family and everyone. And I hope justice is served in the way that it should be. And I hope we don't do some bullshit here.
Me too.
All right, Elyse, it is time for us to move on to the TV shows. And I think you go first this week.
I go first because I'm the best.
Well,
right? And the best always goes first.
Yeah, that's true. Because last week I went first.
So worst first last week. Best always goes first this week. I think that's how it goes, right?
It's pretty depressing.
Worst first and then best first. It kind of depends on the week. I'll decide whether it's worst first or best first.
You'll just make
week.
That call for us every week.
Every week.
Okay.
It's just a toss up. It's a coin toss, you know? Heads is best, tails is worst.
Elyse,
what?
What teen television show are you going to talk about this week?
This week I'm talking about Gossip Girl.
Tell me.
And who am I? That's not a secret I'll never tell. You know you love me. XOXO. Gossip Girl.
Tell me a little bit about Gossip Girl.
So Gossip Girl came out in 2007. It is about privileged teens on the Upper East Side of New York that can hide no secret from a ruthless blogger who is always watching.
Ruthless.
Yeah. It stars Blake Lively and Leighton Meester as the two best friends. And then it has Penn Badgley as the love interest of Serena. And then it has Chase Crawford as the love interest of Serena. And then it has Ed Westwick as not the love interest of Serena. Anyways, it's really great. Everyone loves Serena.
So
and then Blair's like, why does everyone love Serena? Everyone needs to love me. And then finally,
Blake fucking Lively. That's
finally
why.
Blair has someone that loves her. And they
Spoilers.
are golden together.
Okay, so
my word.
So this show came out in 2007.
In 2007, yes.
There were 6 seasons.
There were 6 seasons.
You were how old in 2007?
I was a senior in high school in 2007, and I really remember this show coming out, and I watched it, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really good.
Why did you watch it?
So I watched the show because I had off and on again started watching the OC, because my senior year I had 2 off periods. Basically, I had all my classes, and then once lunch rolled around, I got to leave campus, and I didn't have to come back until I had drill team.
Me too, my senior year. Except I didn't have to come back at all because I did not have drill team.
Yeah.
I had to go home and play video games team.
Yeah, I didn't have that. But I would go home, and then over my lunch break, the soap opera channel would show teen soaps.
Wait,
and they
really?
would show, and they had the OC. And so I started watching the OC, and I really liked it. And then the OC had finished, and the guy that was the executive producer of the OC.
The OC was done by 2007?
It was like the last season or something like that.
I guess I did watch that in college. This is the weird thing about this whole us doing teen stuff this week and doing college stuff next week is
Scott's so old.
Your teen stuff is my college stuff, and it's just weird. I don't like it. Okay, so OC
anyways,
was over.
So the OC was at least on reruns on the soap opera network. And so I was watching that. And then as soon as I found out that this show was coming out and the guy that did the OC was doing this, I thought, oh, I love the OC. I'm sure I would love this. Josh Schwartz.
Right? Yeah.
So that's why I started watching this. And it's basically the OC on the East Coast.
Yeah,
it totally is. Because
you hadn't told me, but you did say to me while we were watching, I think we were on the second episode, you were like, do you know what else the creator of the show made? And I was like, the OC.
Yeah.
Because it's like rich
Serena
people, but on the other coast.
I can't even think of Misha Barton's character. That's who she is. Leighton Meester is Summer. And they actually look a lot alike. And weirdly enough, okay, so Adam Brody dated Rachel Bilson while they were doing the OC, and he's now married to Leighton Meester.
Oh, wow.
Because that's like just his total type, I guess.
Yeah, well, and the Dan Humphrey character is the Seth Cohen character because he's in love with a different one.
Dan Humphrey, I think, is more of the Ben McKenzie character.
Oh, yeah, because he's like the outcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I the part of
so
it,
I guess
he's kind of a combination.
Necessarily.
Well, he's kind of a combination because he was also like secretly in love with one of the girls, right? Like he was. So I'm seeing that as like a let's stop talking
an
about
amalgamation.
The OC. Let's talk about
love
this.
the OC too. Anyways, so that's why I started watching Gossip Girl, and I watched it the first season, and then I stopped watching it in college just because I got really busy and stuff. It's college, and then as soon as I stopped college and had more time and was just working and all of the episodes dropped on Netflix, I thought, hey, I'll just catch back up and rewatch all the ones that I watched and watch the whole show. And I did. And I loved it. And I was so glad. It was wonderful.
What is it about the show that you like so much?
I don't even know. It's just, I think it's a scripted version of
your
just
life?
drama, like absurd reality stuff that I like watching on reality TV. Only it's better because it's scripted, so it's purposeful and it's not real life. And I love the
Bachelor, which is definitely not scripted.
I mean, it has its moments, yes, but I've always liked Blake Lively because originally when she was in Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants, the very first thing that I watched of hers, I just really liked her character a lot. And then I figured out who she was. And then she was in this show and I was like, oh my gosh, I love Blake Lively. And so I wanted to watch it. And so, yeah, I don't know. I just liked it. And I like New York. I liked the clothes. I liked the storyline. It was just all great.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, what's there not to like? It's just a teen drama. I started watching this and I just want to rewatch everything again.
Yeah, so that's...
I just want to keep going.
That's a good question.
Again.
So for this podcast, we watched the first 4 episodes. We basically decided for both of our shows and all of our shows going forward, we're going to watch the first 4 episodes.
It's a very good place to start.
It gives you a pretty good feel for what the show is, I think.
So, I mean, if there were other episodes that we wanted to watch intentionally, like I go back and forth because I know that the next TV show that I want to watch, I definitely want you to watch the first ones, but I want to talk about also why I really connected to that show.
I mean, you could
but
still
by doing
talk
that,
about it.
I'm going to spoil some stuff that happened.
I don't care about spoilers.
But
you know me.
man.
I mean, there's some episodes of my show, like my favorite episode of the show we're going to be talking about for me this week, Smallville, we did not see.
Well, we should have watched that one.
Well, yeah.
Should have skipped through and watched it.
I mean, like the thing about serialized television is you need the stuff before it. Like,
I guess so.
Like, I mean, even...
But I have you to explain it.
Like, yeah, but you wouldn't understand why I liked it so much. Anyway, we're talking about your show, not my show.
Yes. Gossip
So,
Girl.
yeah, we watched how did it hold up?
Great.
Do you like it just as much?
Oh my gosh, I love it
today
still.
as you did when you watched it?
It's so good.
Yeah.
It is so good. Gosh.
Who's your favorite character?
I go back and forth. I really think I ended up liking Blair a little bit more than Serena. I like them both.
Okay.
I really do. I like both of the girls.
Non-committal.
I was never a huge Dan fan, nor was I like on the Nate train. So okay. I really like Blair and Chuck get together. And when Blair and Chuck get together, it is the ultimate.
Chuck's the rapist, right?
Yes.
That's interesting.
I know.
They actually are going to make a character out of him and not have him just be the really gross, disgusting guy?
Oh, yes. He's wonderful.
Okay.
Towards the end. You know, everyone has to... you can redeem yourself. You can make a mistake.
Sure.
Everyone's got to have a second chance.
Okay. He didn't really get punished for it, though. I haven't seen the show. I
He
can't
got
count.
punched.
Oh, yeah. That's...
He
I mean,
did.
everyone
Twice.
knows that you rape someone, you get punched.
I mean-
The justice system has spoken.
Anyways, when
He
Chuck
didn't. He
and
didn't
Blair
actually.
get together,
He
no,
didn't actually
didn't.
rape anyone
He
on the
did
show.
not.
He definitely sexually assaulted 2 women in the pilot, though.
Well, yes. I'm not even going to try and... he did.
Okay.
There's nothing redeeming about that, except later in the show, he is a great
I believe
couple
you.
with Blair.
I believe you.
Okay.
So I had never seen this show before.
Yes. Tell me what you thought about it.
Yeah. So I obviously had heard of this show. I watched the CW, or I think it was still the WB at the time.
Who'd you hear it from? Gossip Girl? Oh, she's everywhere, isn't she?
Yes. I had heard of the show before, and I knew people that watched it, but I had never seen it myself. And
You didn't even know that Blake Lively was in it.
probably not. No.
No, because I talked to you about
you're
it,
right,
and I
I
thought
didn't.
it was a great week to talk about this because A Simple Favor is coming out on Friday, and I actually didn't even realize it was coming out on Friday, and we were doing this episode this week.
It's excellent timing, babe.
It's excellent timing. I just
excellent
thought that
timing.
it was going to be around the same time.
Yeah.
And then I told you about it, and you thought, what? Why does that matter? And I said, because she's in the show.
Yeah. So, okay. Had never seen the show before, but I really like the OC. I watched the OC in college. I living in my dorm freshman year, a bunch of dudes got together and we all watched the OC. It's a great show. I think it's fantastically written. It's cheesy. It's over the top. We almost thought about doing an entire show, like an episode by
And maybe
episode
we
review
should,
of
we
OC.
should,
And
because it's
there's
still so good.
There's still time.
There is. There's only 4 seasons.
Yes, Seth Cohen
And you
is
don't
like
really do the 4th.
Seth Cohen is like my spirit animal. And
Did I tell you what I did?
I had such a crush on Rachel Bilson.
So when I was in college, I bought a pair of Converse because they looked like Seth Cohen would have worn them.
See, this is
And
why
then I
we're meant
walked
to
around
be.
and I tried to like describe things as so Cohen. Like, that's so Cohen. I tried to make it a thing and it never worked.
Oh, poor Elyse.
It's okay. So guys,
Remember the
we can
episode of
start
the OC?
describing stuff like that. Like, oh my gosh, that's so Cohen.
No, let's not. It's
Yes,
not going to
let's
happen.
do it. Cohen.
Remember the episode of the OC where Seth was upside down and they
the
reenact the
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man kiss?
Yeah, that was your dream, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Anyway, all that being said, I liked the show. I surprisingly liked it.
Gossip Girl.
Yes, Gossip Girl. I think you can, like I said, you can tell it's a Josh Schwartz show. It's rich teenagers doing drama, bad things.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing how easy it is for these kids to obtain drugs and alcohol, which is not something that I had easy access to in high school at all.
New York.
But yeah, they're rich people in New York. So I guess when you own a hotel, you can just drink in the hotel bar whenever you want. I think it's like, I think the pilot is very solid. The inciting incident is our main character, Blake Lively, coming home for mysterious reasons. We get to find out what it is. Her brother has tried to commit suicide, so she's back from boarding school. We don't know why she suddenly left, but she's having to like reintegrate herself with
But
this.
we learn why she left.
Yeah, it's in the first 4 episodes,
It's
right?
in the
We-
first
yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
The very first episode.
And the best thing about the show to me is
Yes.
the kind of frame.
XOXO.
Yeah, the frame on it is
Gossip Girl.
like Elyse said in the summary of the show, there is a blogger blogging about everything our characters do, and there's voiceover at the beginning and end of every single episode, read by Kristen Bell, which I was very surprised
Yeah.
because we started off and someone's voice, and I'm like, is that Kristen Bell? Because it sounds exactly like, because she did a lot of voiceover in Veronica Mars, because it's a noir story, so she did that, and
I couldn't remember if it was her or not.
and
You
it
asked
was.
me and we looked at
I mean,
yeah.
I can recognize my Kristen Bells.
Oh, could you recognize my voice anywhere?
Probably not.
Oh man, I haven't done enough voiceover yet.
Yeah,
Gotta
but
work on my voiceover career.
but I love that framing device. I think it is very interesting, and we don't at least in the first 4 episodes, and probably for a little bit, don't know who that blogger is, but they seem to know everything and be everywhere.
You don't know until the last season.
It is the last season.
It is
Okay.
last season.
Yeah.
But you can speculate if you like.
I don't want to.
You don't want to speculate?
I don't want to.
It's got speculations.
You're not.
No?
See, guys, Elyse listens to the Warren podcast once.
Or I just make up the songs.
Yes, you just make up
I
the
do
jingles.
that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think the kind of the Josh Schwartz staple is kids dealing with life, and then usually they've got some parents that are decent. Like I'm thinking of Cohen, I'm thinking of Cohen's dad, and I think Dan's father. So far, they're gonna go through their own shit. Of course, but he seems like a really decent dude. And so many, I think, teen shows like force the parents out as like either impediments, antagonists to what the kids want, or not, or they don't bother to make them real characters. And I like that the show doesn't do that, at least so far. Like the parents have lives, they're characters. It's very, like I said, it's very similar to the OC in that regard.
And I think that those shows that have not just the teenage characters, but also the adult characters are ones that you care about. Mm-hmm. And they can have all of those different storylines are the ones that are more successful.
Yeah.
Thinking, yes, the OC, yes, the Gossip Girl, Friday Night Lights. Friday Night Lights turned out to be more of a show about Coach and Tammy than it did about any of the players almost by the end of it. And that's because you cared about them and you rooted for their marriage and they were awesome and you loved them.
They're two fantastic actors.
Oh my gosh. They're so good.
We're not talking about Friday Night Lights.
I'm just talking about teenage shows, man.
Yeah, I mean,
the parent.
This is, I will say, it is a WB show, like all WB shows, which means its production values are pretty cheap. It doesn't do a lot of fancy thing with the cameras.
Just be nice to the show.
I'm talking about it.
Okay.
We're doing a podcast. We have to talk about the show.
We're talking.
It, like my show, it doesn't do very much creative things, like compared to Friday Night Lights, which is a show that I think is very stylistic in the way that it's shot. This
brilliant.
show is shot like old TV, which is you have 2 people in a room and you have 3 shots on them. You have over each other's shoulders, and then you have the medium where they're both in it, and that's basically
I want to rewatch Friday Night Lights now too.
Okay, one thing at a time.
How can I rewatch all of these?
One thing at a time.
There's so many things. They're so good.
But yeah, I was into the show. Like we watched 4 hours of it, and it was not like a rough time for me.
So you're going to continue to watch it all the way
so
through?
I think that's the thing we're going to do from now on. For the rest of this month, we're going to watch the first 4 episodes, and then we're going to say, okay, so now that we've done our obligation, our marriage obligation is to watch the first 4 episodes, will we continue to watch this?
I think what we should do is at the end of it, we should determine which of the shows we want to continue watching, and this be like the pilot for it. So we've watched I think Gilmore Girls, because it's just another Gossip Girl. So we watched Gossip Girl and we've watched Smallville.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have next week's shows and then we'll have the following week's shows. And so we'll have 6 shows to choose from.
What about the first 2?
We're not really going to count the first 2.
Well, we're definitely going to be watching Batman the Animated Series because
we can watch it Saturday mornings when you have cereal.
On Blu-ray.
We should have cereal. I like cereal.
Your brain.
Milk
I swear.
and cereal. Milk and cereal. Milk and cereal. Cereal and milk.
Okay, so
have you heard that song?
Yes.
Okay.
The short answer is I want to keep watching this show.
Okay,
I'm into it enough that I want to, and there might be a time when in the 6 seasons that I might want to bow out. But right now,
don't bow out. You didn't
I'm
even meet
it.
some of the good characters. You didn't meet Vanessa, who you saw in the picture, and you were wondering who that character was, and you didn't meet Georgina. Georgina causes so much drama.
I'm sure they all cause drama. It's a drama.
Ugh. I mean, Vanessa does too. Yeah. But Georgina, she's the real troublemaker.
All right. So that is Gossip Girl. It is
XOXO.
It is all 6 episodes, or all 6 seasons are all available via Netflix. So if you have a Netflix account, that's
you should totally go watch it.
That's for our American audiences. I don't know what international. We say this, but it's Netflix is different in every country.
Yeah, because I hadn't realized that it was different in every country. Then when we went to Sweden, I found out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was Gossip Girl.
That was Gossip Girl.
And now we're moving on to another show.
Bum, 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 bum.
Somebody save me.
That's my show.
Save me
Another-
from this show right now.
no.
Save me.
Another WB show. This show started in 2001 and ran until 2011. It was 10 seasons of the show.
I think one thing that we have to notice though about this is that both of us, the channel that we watched and that was really thriving for shows for our target audience at this point in time was the WB.
Yeah.
Later known as the CW.
Yeah.
Is it still known as the CW?
It is, yeah.
Okay, so it was UPN 21. It was.
No, they merged.
Yeah. Well, UPN 21 merged with 33.
Yeah, WB.
WB
Yes.
33. And then it just became WB 33.
Uh-huh.
And then it became the CW.
Because Buffy started on WB, then Buffy went to UPN for its last 2 seasons, and then they merged anyway.
Used to have Fresh Prince.
Anyway,
Sorry, you guys don't know because we're in the same place, so no one knows UPN 21 except for that
yeah,
DFW
you're listing.
people.
Well, they know UPN, they don't know the channel number.
Oh, it's UPN 21, guys. It was 21. It was so good. Like you had to be 20. It was like an adult number.
No.
You know, like, yeah, 21.
So WB 33, I'm
Sorry.
finally almost old enough to watch the network.
Almost.
Yeah.
Almost. You're just about to peak.
So Smallville it was created by Alfred Goh and Miles Miller. It is about the teen adventures of Clark Kent, Superman, in his hometown of Smallville, Kansas. It stars Tom Welling, Kristen Crook. How do you say that? Crook?
Are you
I've never
man
said
or
that.
Superman?
Michael Rosenbaum, Allison Mack.
Yeah, we don't talk about her.
We're gonna have to.
We can't.
We're gonna have to.
We don't agree with her.
Later, they bring in
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Erica Durance as Lois Lane. Yes, JTT is a monster of the week at one point in it.
And then Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
What?
Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
Yeah, I said JTT.
Okay. Just don't forget about Jonathan Taylor Thomas.
What is wrong with you? I said that already.
I mean, he's iconic.
He's in one episode, Elyse.
I mean, it's
One
Jonathan
episode.
Taylor Thomas.
So this
can't forget about
is
him.
this is a teen drama that basically exists because of the popularity of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. In the wake,
Really?
yeah, in the wake of the popularity of Buffy, the kind of supernatural teen drama monster of the week type show became a pretty big deal. And Smallville is one of the shows that was greenlit because of that. Because this is, this is a story dealing with the Superman mythos, but what this is a teen drama that also has a different monster every week that our characters have to fight and overcome. And we kind of slow roll the origin story of Superman across these 10 seasons. In the very early episodes is where he's like getting different powers. Like we watched one of the episodes where he gets his X-ray vision. There's an episode. Flight is not until very late, and they wanted to hold.
Floating.
Yeah, I mean, but that's like he isn't actually able to control his flight until very much later in the season for obvious financial reasons. It complicates
it's all about
things.
that money.
But there's later episodes where he gets his heat vision, where he gets his cold breath. He kind of like gets his power set as we go. It also very much has the kryptonite. Like kryptonite is in the first episode,
Yeah.
and I think we're going to talk about one of the reasons why I think this show suffers. But anyway, I think I've told this story before, but my sister loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and I loved Buffy the Vampire Slayer because she did. But I really I felt like that. I still felt like that was her show, you know. So
Yeah.
I really wanted a show that was my show, and this show started up. It was 2001, so I was probably like a sophomore in high school, and I was like, I love Superman. It seems like it's kind of like the Buffy model, but with Superman. This is my shit. So I kind of like decided I was going to like this before I even saw it. And luckily I did. But this is I am willing to admit that this is not a great,
It's
perfect
not fantastic.
show. I mean, it's certainly better than Gossip Girl, but
No, it's not.
I think it is. But I think it has a lot of good stuff in it, and like any show, it takes a little while to get its feet, but I want to know what you thought of it. What did you think? So you technically have seen the first season
here's the
before.
deal. I had watched the first season before because I watched Gilmore Girls all throughout high school, which I didn't want to pick Gilmore Girls for this episode because I'm saving Gilmore Girls for something else. I don't know what else, but we just have to give more time to Gilmore Girls. So I couldn't pick it for now.
Okay.
But Smallville came on right after Gilmore Girls. So I watched the first season, and I had to watch, I remember this very vividly. So we didn't have DVR whenever the shows first came out. So I don't remember what was going on in the main living room, but I always had to go watch Gilmore Girls and Smallville in my parents' room because no one else wanted to watch it. And so as soon as it hit 7 o'clock, I would go and I would watch it in my parents' room so that I could watch both of my shows live. And it just became to be one of those things where I guess after the first season, it was just, I had a lot of other things going on and I wasn't necessarily invested in the show. And so I just stopped watching. And it wasn't that it wasn't great. It wasn't that I just really disliked it. It was just one of those things where, is it really worth my time? No, it wasn't really worth my time. And so that's why I stopped watching it.
Okay.
But rewatching this, episodes, it's fine. I like the origin story of Superman.
Mm-hmm.
I really like Tom Welling. I had not realized how much I appreciated the Lex Luthor character until the second time around. And I do really like him. And I'd be very interested to see how it goes past the seasons that I watched because
Not well.
Okay.
I would say the first 3 seasons. Well, okay. After the first 4 seasons, he graduates from high school and moves to Metropolis and goes to college in Metropolis. And that is the part where the show really
And that's always the
kind of
hardest
drops off a
part
cliff.
for these types of shows.
Most shows
they don't
most high school
transition very
shows
easily.
have a really hard time handling the college transition.
Yeah.
It's just like real life, right? College is a big change. It's a big transition.
Well, see,
and you got to find your feet, and you don't always do it.
I didn't actually think that from high school to college was a huge transition. I thought more of college to the real world was the bigger transition. For me, at least.
I think that depends on, I think it all depends on how you're raised and
yeah,
and that kind of
it
stuff.
was like not a big deal at all moving from high school to college. And I kept on waiting for that huge moment where I thought it feels different and there are all of these things that are new and exciting and just like completely, I was thrown and it didn't happen. And then when the real world hit, when the actual job happened and the money happened and all of that stuff, that's when I really realized, man, I gotta grow up. Yeah.
So Smallville.
Yeah, Smallville. That's what we're talking about. Not my life.
Michael Rosenbaum as Lex Luthor is by far the best part of the show.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's actually phenomenal, and the relationship, the idea of making Clark and Lex
friends,
really like best friends.
Yeah.
In the show, I think was a really smart move, and I think the complicated nature and the changing nature of their friendship over the course of the series, especially the early part of the series, is what makes the show great.
I'm sorry, is that in the comics at all? Do you know any of that backstory? Like, was that based on something, or was that just
the thing about the comics is they change.
Okay.
The short answer is no, but I'm sure there's some Superman backstory somewhere where they've written that in, but.
Because I thought that was actually the most interesting part, because the whole thing with origin stories, it's always about just how did the person get the power, but there's not a whole lot of relationship stuff, I feel like, that's normally addressed.
And it's like
and that was interesting.
And it's the fact that we know this relationship is doomed at the end, they can play on that for the drama, because you can see like the character of Lex Luthor is such a tragic character in the show, because he is the guy who like had like you learn so much of his backstory and the things that have happened to him and his shitty family, his shitty childhood, like the terrible stuff that happened to him. And he's so like, there are parts in the show where he's so close to becoming good, to being the person that he wants to be, and the person that Clark Kent, always the Boy Scout, believes he can be. And he just doesn't, like, that's doomed. And I think it's part of the tragedy of his character that makes the show fun to watch. And it's Michael Rosenbaum's performance, which is just, he has the perfect amount of smarminess while still having like a tone of good underneath it. So you can you can believe both him when he's bad and him when he's good. And I think Tom Welling is actually really good as Clark Kent too.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call Tom Welling one of the best actors ever, but he's
an Abercrombie and Fitch model. And we all know that that's the reason that he was cast, because all the girls remembered him from his Abercrombie and Fitch model days.
Well, it's funny because I think he inhabits, like, he's a big dude. Like he's tall and muscular and large. And so I think he like encapsulates like the Clark Kent bumbling oafishness a little bit, while still having that warm heart at the center of it, that like just he's like at his core just a good person. I think he manages to capture that pretty perfectly. But he's also like the show experiments in the second season and beyond with Clark bad, because the red kryptonite in this universe, this Superman universe, is basically like a drug for Superman and makes him do bad things. And red kryptonite Clark Kent is amazing. And I actually remember,
is it like Spider-Man 3 Topher Grace?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, but Topher Grace was a nerd, so his cool version was a nerd. Clark Kent's cool version is kind of like a 50s biker.
Oh gosh.
But it's funny because they dressed him in a suit. I remember because I loved the show. Like I had the first.
I mean, you have all of the season.
Yeah, but I had
almost.
But I've had the first, like, I got the first 4 and I watched them over and over again a lot. And I watched some of the episodes have director's commentary on it, or
of course
creators
you watched
commentary
them with that.
And I always listen to those. And I remember the why are you laughing at me?
Oh, I always listen to those.
I do.
It's just the way that you usually had a little thing with your shoulder when you said it. It was just really cute.
Guys, she's so mean to me.
No, it was cute.
So I remember one of the first Red Kryptonite episodes, they dressed him in a suit. They dressed Tom Welling in a suit. And in the director's commentary, they were like, we realized we should never do that again because he looks so old.
Oh, I was going to say because he looks so good.
No, because he's supposed to be like, that's the thing about the show is all our characters except for Lex Luthor are supposed to be freshmen in high school.
Yeah.
And they're all like 27.
Not true.
And the way they kind of de-age Tom Welling is they make him wear like really baggy plaid shirts and like really baggy jeans, and
that's
just like they kind of make it. They kind of make him a little messy. But when you put like a nice like tailored suit on him, he looks like he's 27 years old. And they realize like we can't do that again. And I thought that was just really funny.
But really, no one cared.
I mean, it's like one of the things about watching any of these high school dramas is you're just going to have to be okay with the fact that all these people are in their 20s. Like, it's just part of it. Like, even in the best of these shows.
Except that 70s show.
That is true. Mila Kunis was like 16, yeah.
15,
yeah.
16. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta have one exception.
Yeah. So
sorry, I gotta point it out.
So okay, what else do I want to say about the show? Had the biggest crush in the world on Kristen Kruk. I think you're noticing like a brunette trend with me.
I guess that's why he likes me. I guess I should never go blonde. Oops.
Was really into her. Kristen Kruk. not the best actress. And I think
She's really bad.
And I think that's one of the things that really makes this show suffer. Tom Welling's okay. Michael Rosenbaum is great. Everyone else, I think Clark's parents are pretty good. Annette O'Toole.
The dad is good. I don't like the mom. And I know that you're like, oh, but she was so-and-so in the movie. No, she's not good.
Annette O'Toole
Yep.
is like a very well-known actress.
I don't care. She's not good.
Okay. His friend Pete is
Oh, yeah. Pete.
terrible.
Not very good, Pete.
Terrible. And then we have Allison Mack. Allison Mack plays Chloe in the show, basically a proto Lois Lane. She's the reporter character in the story.
Basically, she was trying to scheme for her sex thing. What was it? I forget.
I can't believe you were going to take over this since you don't know any of it.
She just had that business. She tried to cover it up as a reporter, as an acting scheme. And she failed.
I'm just going to let you flounder on this
She
because you have
failed.
no idea what you're talking about.
And you know what? She got arrested. And she roped her friend into it. And her friend tried to help with it. And, in the end, you always got to bring your friends down. You're not a good friend unless you bring your friend down. That's what we learned, guys.
What in God's
Good friends
name
bring friends down.
are you talking about?
I don't know.
So yeah, Allison Mack was in a sex cult.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I couldn't think of the cult.
She joined some like leadership organization called
Sex Cults Anonymous.
Nexium or something.
Close enough.
And apparently this thing was founded by a guy named Keith Rainier, who is not a good person. And she was his second in command in this. Within that organization, there was a literal sex cult where they were like branding people and
That's
like
ridiculous.
and
I forgot about the brand.
blackmailing people. And so she's awaiting trial right now. I think it's going to be later this fall. But yeah, this is the first time
Is she in jail right now?
she's out on bail. This is the first time I've watched the show since that whole huge story broke about her.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, it was a little harder to watch one of my favorite shows with this knowledge. Because like I like...
Was she doing that at the time of the show though?
No. Not till, I mean, in the later parts of the show, yeah. But the episodes we watched, no.
Well, then once you just get to those seasons, we'll just burn them.
Okay. No, we're not going to burn
Yeah,
them.
we got to burn those seasons.
But I, like Tom Welling, like Clark Kent, I always had a crush on Kristen Kreuk, on Lana Lang. But I was like, I wanted to be friends with Chloe Sullivan because she was just like... She's the plucky, like excited, like just fun to be around character who like serves as, she's also like the exposition fairy in the show a lot. Like she's the one that explains the weirdness that's going on to the viewer. That's kind of like Giles in Buffy. That's kind of her role in this show.
I wanted her hair. I wanted to get that haircut with the little flippy outy thing at the bottom. It was very 2000s.
And I think one of the reasons why I got into Veronica Mars so quickly after I watched the show was
Because of Kristen Bell's hair.
Yeah, well, Kristen Bell is kind of in character, similar to what Chloe Sullivan was in the show. But that's anything you want to say about Smallville? Would you watch more of the show?
The corn capital of the United
creamed
States.
corn
The
capital.
creamed corn capital. I really like creamed corn. Creamed corn is pretty good. Except I can't have it very much. And, corn's not really that good for you, I guess. But, creamed corn. I like it.
There is one thing that
I like elote. Sorry.
There is one thing that I heard. I've heard people that are really into the Superman mythos that have a problem with how it's framed in this show.
And what is that?
So all of the monsters of the week, basically all of the powers and stuff that happens in the very early show. Later they expand the universe, but in the very early show, all the powers are based off of interaction with
Kryptonite.
What they call meteor rock in the first few seasons. Later they figure out it's kryptonite. So all of the bad guys Clark is fighting got their powers because of kryptonite, which means all of the bad stuff that happens in the show happened because Clark crashed on the planet. So
It's all his fault.
there is a level of guilt to the character of Superman. I've heard some people say that Clark's motivation for doing good being out of guilt kind of ruins the Superman character. I don't quite agree, because I don't think he's motivated by guilt, but I think he definitely feels it. Like the pilot makes it very, like, he learns that, like, what happened to Lana's parents, which it's like my favorite scene in the pilot, where, like,
just this random ball of fire just happens to crash right on two people.
I mean,
child just so happens to be watching.
yeah, she's like watching from across the street, and she goes, "Mommy, Daddy," and then a meteor just like, not like in the area, like on the two of them in particular. Like, this meteor said, "Fuck you two, you're dead."
I'm gonna blow your car up, and I did.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think, like, I think Clark Kent, the character in this show, guilt is not driving him. I think guilt is definitely something he feels, and, like, is part of his, like, the fact that he feels guilt, I think, is showing that he is that Superman type character. I mean, it was not his fault. Like, he had no control over this thing. It was not his fault. But Clark Kent putting this on him when it's not his,
that is
I
very
think
Superman.
it is.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it works, and that's why I like it. But I do understand the complaint that that some people had with it. Like, I get that.
Now, I did not answer the question as to whether I would watch the rest of the
You
show.
did not.
I think it would be one of those shows where if I have nothing else on to watch, I might. Not that it was bad and that I didn't like it. It was just, I'm not really connected to any of the characters.
Not Tom. Baby's Clark.
No.
He doesn't know what's happening to him.
No.
And he can't be around Lana because she wears her kryptonite necklace.
No. Nope. But maybe, I mean, I'll watch them with you if you want to have them on and I'm grading papers or something.
Gee, thanks for throwing me a bone.
Yeah.
Grading
it's
paper
not that
watching.
I don't like it. It's not that I don't like it. It's just I'm not connected to it. So I need to at least get through the ones where I'm not connected to see if I can connect to something.
My favorite episode of this show, God, I can't even remember when it is. There's a character later in the show.
Would I connect to that character?
I don't know.
I guess... Is that bad that I connect to characters from Gossip Girl?
Your ability to and to not connect to characters is a mystery to me that I will never understand.
I am one of life's great mysteries.
Let's go ahead and wrap this thing up.
Okay.
I think.
So, what are we doing next week, Scott?
Next week, we are moving on to college television, TV shows we watched while we were in college.
College/early adulthood.
Sure. College slash,
because
Elyse once again
early adulthood.
Just kind of took the rules and just kind of bent them.
It started the year that I was a senior in college again. I think I was a senior in college.
So Elyse,
anyways, it was.
What did you pick?
I picked one of the most heart-wrenching shows of recent times. Parenthood. It's so good, guys. If you just want to get a good cry in, just turn on yourself some Parenthood, especially towards the later seasons. You just can't go through an episode without crying.
All right.
Such a good release.
I can't wait to cry.
I can't wait to see you cry.
I have seen some episodes of the show. I have never watched it from the beginning.
Ugh. The beginning won't make you cry as much.
All right.
Okay, what'd you pick?
I picked Veronica Mars, a show that we've been talking about a few times on here now.
We didn't
And I figured this was a perfect excuse to get you to actually sit down and watch it. So we have ordered the seasons on
shows are married.
Digital video disc. What?
Our shows are married.
Oh, yeah. My show has Kristen Bell, and Elise's show has Dax Shepard, who are the most adorable couple.
Oh, my gosh, they're precious. We should get them on this.
Yeah.
How should we get them on Vow To View? I think that should... What if we could get them on for next week because we're doing both of their shows?
Yeah, let me...
Who should I write?
Here, let me just...
I'm not even kidding.
Hey, Siri.
I need to find who
Could you please call Kristen Bell's publicist?
I bet no. We should just reach out to them on social media. We really should. There's no Kristen Bell in Spring Creek Parkway of Plano.
That's a mess, Siri. It turns out Siri doesn't know the number, Elyse.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to get Kristen Bell
I don't
and
know.
Dax
Maybe we
Shepard
can.
on the podcast.
Guys, this would be so cool. Okay, we're going to see what we can do about this.
All right, guys, get your hopes up because it's definitely going to happen.
Scott, you got to have faith, faith, faith.
That's all.
You got to have faith, faith, faith.
That's all the time we have for this week. If you like this podcast, you can check it and all the other shows we do out at doofmedia.com. Also, consider becoming a patron of Doof Media. You can head on over to patreon.com/doofmedia and give $1 a month or whatever else you can afford, and you get access to our awesome Discord chat and a bunch of other cool benefits that you can find
Send
there.
Kristen Bell a message via Instagram.
Go for it. Also, if you happen to be listening via Apple Podcasts, why don't you head on over there and drop us a rating and a review. Each and every rating and review helps new people find our show, so maybe we can get Kristen Bell and Dax Shepard on it.
She's got a blue check mark next to her name, Kristen Annie Bell.
Okay.
What should I say?
I can't, there's...
Oh my gosh, I don't know what to say.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week. Elyse, there's no way she is going to be able to receive instant messages from random people. She probably has it blocked.
You know what? I'm going to follow her.
Okay, go for it.
I'm going to send it to
Elyse, go for it. I want you to do it.
her. What should I say?
I want you to do it because
Send
it's
a
hilarious.
message.